Have you ever spent so many years doing something that it became part of who you are? That was basketball for me. Not as a player, but as the man behind the scenes. For nearly 20 years, I owned my own business installing basketball goals and sports equipment. Most people walk into a gym, look at the scoreboard, the basketball goals, or the equipment, and never think about who installed it. That was my job, and I absolutely loved it. Every project was different. Every school had its own story. Every installation came with new challenges. Some days I worked at elementary schools. Other days I found myself inside huge college arenas where thousands of fans would eventually fill the seats. I wasn't just installing equipment. I was helping build places where memories would be made. Places where kids would score their first basket. Where high school teams would win championships. Where college athletes would chase their dreams. I took great pride in my work. Because I knew the equipment had to be perfect. There was no room for mistakes. Basketball goals aren't just pieces of metal. They're responsible for the safety of athletes. Every bolt, every anchor, every measurement had to be exactly right. That responsibility meant everything to me. Over the years, my business continued to grow. Word spread that if you wanted the job done right, you called us. That reputation opened doors I never imagined. I had the privilege of installing basketball goals at schools all across the country. From K-12 schools to some of the biggest universities in America. I worked at the University of Arkansas, the University of Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, and many other colleges. Walking into those arenas was always special. Before the crowds arrived, before the lights came on, it was just me, my crew, and the work. There's something satisfying about standing in an empty arena, knowing that in a few weeks thousands of people will cheer inside a building you helped prepare. One of the greatest honors of my career came when I had the opportunity to install equipment for the Memphis Grizzlies. As someone who spent years working around basketball, that was a dream come true. I remember walking into the arena thinking, how did a regular guy like me get here? It wasn't because I was famous. It wasn't because I had special connections. It was because of years of hard work. Showing up on time, doing quality work, treating customers with respect, and never cutting corners. Those simple principles built my business. People often think success comes from one big opportunity. In my experience, success comes from thousands of small decisions made consistently over many years. Getting up early, working hard even when you're tired, doing the right thing when no one is watching. That's how reputations are built. There were long days, hot summers, cold mornings, heavy lifting, unexpected problems, equipment delays, weather delays. But I wouldn't trade those years for anything. I met incredible people, worked with amazing schools, and created friendships that have lasted a lifetime. Owning my own business taught me lessons that had nothing to do with basketball. It taught me responsibility, patience, leadership, and the value of keeping your word. If I told a customer I'd be there, I showed up. If I promised quality, I delivered it, because your reputation becomes your greatest advertisement. Then, in 2020, everything changed. I suffered a devastating stroke. The business I had spent nearly 20 years building suddenly became impossible for me to continue. That was heartbreaking. When you've poured your life into something, walking away isn't easy. There were moments when I wondered if all those years had disappeared. But as time passed, I realized something important. The stroke could take away my ability to install basketball goals, but it couldn't take away the memories. It couldn't erase 20 years of hard work. It couldn't erase the lives I touched. It couldn't erase the lessons I learned. Today, when I drive past a school or a gym where I once worked, I smile, because somewhere inside that building, there are kids playing basketball, families cheering from the stands, dreams being chased, and maybe, just maybe, they're using a basketball goal that I installed years ago. That thought means more to me than I can describe. Looking back now, I'm incredibly thankful. Thankful for every customer, every project, every challenge, every opportunity, and every person who trusted me to do the job right. Those 20 years shaped the person I became. Even though my career changed after my stroke, the values I learned never changed. Work hard, be honest, treat people with kindness, take pride in what you do, and always give your best. Because you never know whose life you're impacting. Today, my journey looks different. Instead of installing basketball goals, I'm sharing my story, driving for Uber and Lyft, meeting new people, and encouraging others who are facing difficult times. Life didn't go according to my plan. But sometimes, God has a better plan than the one we imagined. I'm grateful for where I've been. I'm grateful for where I am today. And I'm excited to see where this new journey leads. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed hearing about my career and the lessons I learned over 20 years, please subscribe to the channel. I'll continue sharing stories from my past, my recovery from stroke, my Uber and Lyft adventures, and the life lessons God has taught me along the way. And remember, whatever you do in life, do it with excellence. You never know how many lives your work will touch.